WADR, promoting dialogue.
It's midday in Dakar and Conakry, 1 p.m. in Lagos. Good afternoon and thank you for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and worldwide at wadr.org. First, the headline stories. Suicide bombings in Nigeria's northeast claim over 20 lives and injure as many as 100 others.
So many victims were evacuated to the various health facilities within the city, and I have received a report that there were so many dead bodies.
Leaders of Mano River Union agree at a tripartite summit in Conakry to peacefully resolve the border disputes. Elsewhere, Gambia Press Union rejects the proposed media regulation policy by the Ministry of Information.
We firmly believe the proposed policy, if adopted, it will have a lot of serious consequences for journalist safety and media independence in the country.
And Burkina Faso receives 200 million in funding support to transform the agricultural sector. Please stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
On the news, this is Sankulu Jubril Janko.
Many thanks for joining our broadcast. We begin in Nigeria, where the northeastern state of Borno remains in shock following a series of bombings on Monday evening. The State Police Command on Tuesday confirmed the 23 killed and 180 others injured from the attacks that targeted busy spots in Maiduguri metropolis. While the injured are currently receiving medical care at various medical facilities, the joint security sector has deployed forces to restore calm. The state governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, says an investigation has been launched into the disaster. Usman Omar in Abuja reports.
Several explosions rocked the Maiduguri metropolis yesterday evening just as Muslims prepared for iftar. The first blast occurred near the post office and the second explosion followed shortly at the popular busy Monday market. Two other explosions struck the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, while another hit the Kaleri area in the eastern part of the city. Babagana Wakil, a security consultant in Borno State, told WADR that the blasts were carried out by suicide bombers.
Explosions actually happened, according to some eyewitness accounts, that it was in a tricycle. And that of University of Maiduguri, it was a small child that was given the explosive device where he came to the gates and the explosion occurred. So many victims were evacuated to the various health facilities within the city. And I have received a report that there were so many dead bodies in some of these health facilities.
These attacks now raise fresh concerns of renewed violence in the northeast, epicenter of the Boko Haram insurgency. Borno State Police spokesperson Nahum Daso Kenneth said security forces and emergency responders were immediately deployed following the explosions. The government, for its part, has urged residents to remain calm and avoid the affected areas while investigations continue. Babagana Wakil, however, says citizens vow to defy the motivation behind the surging violence.
People who are actually not happy and people who are saying sort of things, also citing that nobody can stop them from going to the Eid prayers. They said Boko Haram members or OSIWA or the attackers might not likely want people to perform their religious rites. That is when you look at it from the religious perspective.
Militants linked to Boko Haram and the Islamic State West Africa province have carried out several attacks on military bases across Borno State this month, killing several soldiers.
Usman Omar reporting from Abuja. Turning to the Mano River Union Basin, leaders from Sierra Leone, Liberia and Guinea have reaffirmed their commitment to maintaining peace and stability along their shared borders. Presidents Julius Maada Bio, Joseph Boakai and Mamadou Doumbouya also agreed to strengthen security cooperation and prioritize dialogue in resolving border disputes. These were part of the resolution from the crucial tripartite summit held in Conakry on Monday, following escalating boundary disputes among the MRU member states. Christopher Adichie has the rest of the details.
The presidents of Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone have met in the Guinean capital, Conakry, to discuss the security situation along their shared borders within the Mano River Union. President Mamadou Doumbouya, Joseph Boakai and Julius Maada Bio reviewed security challenges affecting border communities. In the final communiqué presented by Guinea's Foreign Affairs Minister, Morisanda Koyate, the leaders acknowledged ongoing difficulties on the ground.
The three presidents reviewed the security situation at their respective borders, paying particular attention to recent incidents that have generated tensions between some border communities. They expressed their concern about the proliferation of crises and conflicts.
They also agreed to strengthen cooperation between their countries to prevent any escalation and maintain peaceful relations within the Mano River Union.
The parties committed themselves to peace, security, stability, and development within the Mano River Union. They reiterated their commitments to resolving border disputes through diplomatic means in accordance with Article 33 of the Charter of the United Nations and to strengthening cooperation between their defense and security services through increased joint border patrols and operations, the regular exchange of intelligence and security information, and the establishment of rapid communication mechanisms between local authorities and security forces.
Officials say the Conakry summit marks another step towards stronger regional cooperation, with plans for a future meeting to continue efforts on peace, security and development in the region.
A report by WDR's Cherno Alpha Ibrahim Balde in Conakry, presented by Christopher Aticho. Meanwhile, in Liberia, citizens are urging the government to ensure implementation of the Conakry resolution to end the border conflict with Guinea. On Monday, there was widespread concern when reports emerged about the deployment of a heavy military contingent by President Mahamadou Doumbia on the shared border with its neighbor. According to Doumbia, their presence was to protect the territorial integrity, a claim that was brushed off by Liberians, describing it rather as an intent of aggression. But the presidency continues to urge calm among the citizenry, promising a quick return to normalcy. WDR's Monrovia correspondent Abraham Packer reports.
Regional leaders met on Monday on the framework of the Mano River Union amid rising tensions over a border dispute between Liberia and Guinea. While the talks were underway in Conakry, reports emerged of the deployment of Guinean soldiers along the border with Liberia and other neighboring countries. The development inspired concern among Liberians, with some calling on the government to take a firmer stance to protect the country's territorial integrity. The Liberian government has stressed that President Joseph Boakar's participation in the meeting reflects the desire to resolve the dispute through dialogue and diplomacy. Here is Liberia's Information Minister, Jeremy Pia, urging citizens to remain calm.
As a country, we were using diplomatic means to seek solution or redress. Sierra Leone is involved because President there is currently the head of ECOWAS, but you know there's been issue as well on the Sierra Leonean side with Guinea. So this is an effort to find a peaceful and amicable solution to the unfolding tension that has been taking place along the border.
It is expected that the resolution from the March 16th tripartite meeting will address the root causes of the disputes, strengthen cooperation, and to maintain peace in the Mano River Union Basin. For Newslink on WADR, Abraham Parker, Monrovia.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
In Ghana, President John Mahama has ordered the major expansion of recruitment into the security services. The directive requested that the enlistment across the various agencies be doubled from 20,000 to 40,000 over the next 4 years. The decision follows disappointment after more than 500,000 applicants signed up for the ongoing recruitment exercise, which only provided for 5,000 slots. However, the minority in parliament says increasing the numbers alone does not address deeper concerns about the recruitment process. From Accra, WDR's Nadi Dictator completes the story.
The directive was issued after a high-level meeting at the presidency on Monday involving the leadership of the country's security agencies as well as the ministers responsible for interior and defense. According to the Jubilee House, President Mahama was briefed on the progress of the ongoing recruitment exercise before instructing instructing that the overall intake into the various services be expanded over the next 4 years. He also charged the heads of the agencies to ensure that the recruitment process remains transparent and fair. The issue of recruitment into the security services has drawn significant public attention in recent days after Interior Minister Muntaka Mohamed Mubarak disclosed that more than 500,000 people had applied. Following aptitude tests, about 105,000 candidates progressed to the medical screening stage, although only 5,000 recruits were initially expected to be enlisted this year due to economic constraints. But the minority in Parliament argues that simply increasing recruitment numbers does not address the fundamental concerns surrounding the process. Here is leader of the caucus, Alexander Kwamina Aponyo-Marking.
The government is not listening at all. And this sweeping statement of, they are increasing it to 10,000 from 5,000 is more or less a solution. It doesn't solve the problem. What becomes of the 90,000 who would have paid 1,600 Ghana cedis and perhaps qualify but will not get opportunity to? And that money is not refundable. Even when you know the system does not have a space, then you deliberately allow people to participate. Are you not scamming them?
The presidency is yet to outline how the expanded recruitment target will be distributed across the various security agencies within the 4-year period. For WADR, Nadidi Tete, Accra.
Elsewhere, a proposed policy requiring journalists, broadcasters and some online content creators to obtain official accreditation is drawing criticism in the Gambia. The draft plan prepared by the Ministry of Information under the National Press Accreditation Policy and Broadcasting and Online Content Regulations 2025 would require media practitioners to register and undergo professional assessment before operating. Critics warn the measure could expand government oversight and undermine press freedom. WDR Sangdon Mendy has more in the following report.
The Gambian Press Union, GPU, says the proposal not only threatens press freedom but could also undermine the independence of the media. Serif Sedikan is GPU's vice president.
The proposed framework in its current form represents a dangerous regression for not only press freedom but media independence and freedom of expression in the Gambia. We firmly believe the proposed policy, if adopted, it will have a lot of serious consequences for journalist safety and media independence in the country.
Several former GPU leaders have also voiced opposition, signing an open letter to the government. They warn that the proposal could introduce what they describe as permission-based journalism. Demba Ali Jao, a former president of the GPU, is one of the signatories.
It is not the duty of the government, definitely, to be regulating the media or to deciding who is to practice in this country and what type of media house is to be allowed in this country. I think that is definitely not acceptable.
Bakari Mankajang, a podcaster and a content creator, says
the new policy issue is something that the government should really try to invite media personnel from mainstream content creators and other people to sit over the matter and to hold a discussion to see.
Former leaders of the Gambian Press Union say journalism in the Gambia is already regulated through self-regulation by the Media Council of the Gambia. Since the 2017 political transition under President Adama Barrow, the country has seen significant growth in independent media and greater press freedom. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, I am Sangdana Mendy, reporting from Banjul.
In Benin, President Patrice Talon received a delegation of medical interns in the country on Monday, March 16, 2026. This meeting comes amid heightened tensions within the health community following the conviction of 3 practitioners in a manslaughter case. More details with Abdullah Hassan.
A meeting was held in Benin following a court ruling that sentenced 3 medical professionals over the death of a patient after a cesarean operation. A court in Port Novo sentenced a gynecologist and 2 resident doctors to 24 months in prison, including 12 months behind bars, after the death of a patient identified as Rebecca Dosu at the University Hospital in Weme Department. The ruling sparked strong reactions from medical students and trainee health workers. The Association of Medical Students of Benin announced the suspension of hospital internships and demanded better protection for doctors against attacks and what they describe as abusive legal action. The strike disrupted services in several hospitals. prompting President Patrice Talon to hold talks with the students to address their concerns and ease tensions in the health sector. Following the meeting, several students said they would resume work today.
Abdullah Hassan with that report filed by our Cotonou correspondent Aziz Adam Soleil. You're listening to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and online at wadr.org. Here is a reminder of our top stories. Suicide bombings in Nigeria's northeast claim several lives and injure many. Leaders of Mano River Union agree at a tripartite summit in Conakry to peacefully resolve border disputes. Elsewhere, Gambia Press Union rejects a proposed media regulation policy by the Ministry of Information. Still ahead in the news, Burkina Faso receives $200 million in funding support to transform the agricultural sector. We also have press review, guest interview and sport news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
In Burkina Faso, the World Bank has approved $215.9 million in funding to support the transformation of the agricultural sector in the Sahelian country. The financing will support the Agricultural Transformation Support Project aimed at strengthening food security, creating jobs and promoting private sector investment in agriculture. Details in this report by Augustine Coley.
The initiative seeks to increase farm productivity, modernize processing infrastructure, and improve farmers' access to markets. During the implementation phase, priority will be given to strengthening the rice and maize value chains, which are key to food security. The project also aims to address financing challenges, to encourage private investment and the adaptation of modern agricultural technologies. Special attention will be given to the inclusion of women and young people in agricultural value chains to create jobs and promote rural entrepreneurship. The World Bank resident representative in Burkina Faso, Hamoud Abdelwidou Kamil, says agriculture remains a cornerstone of the country's economy and essential for food security and resilience in rural communities. The project will be implemented in 4 of the country's 17 regions, selected for their strong agricultural potential and opportunities to expand the similar existing programs.
Augustine Coley filed that report. Nigeria is seeking to strengthen trade and investment ties with the United Kingdom as government officials and international investors met at a high-level roundtable. The session comes ahead of President Bola Tinubu's state visit to UK today. The discussions focus on economic reforms, investment opportunities, and improving the business environment in Nigeria. WDR's Abuja correspondent Yeche Nusa has more.
The meeting, convened by the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, brought together Nigeria's economic team, UK investors, and business leaders to discuss trade, partnerships, and long-term investments into the Nigerian economy. Speaking at the roundtable, Nigeria's Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, highlighted the government's commitment to macroeconomic reforms.
For countries like Nigeria, given the fundamental and very impactful macroeconomic reforms that are being put in place, we can be at the heart of a shift to domestic production.
Also speaking, the Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, Aisha Rimi, said Nigeria is positioning itself as a competitive destination for global investment.
We want to showcase what Mr. President has been doing in terms of all the reforms, and that's why we have the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, because with him comes the force of the entire cabinet.
Chairman of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, Lord Marland, stressed the need to improve the ease of doing business to attract more foreign investment.
This whole trip is the ease of doing business in Nigeria. It's been a problem for quite a long time. The steps taken by the President and his ministers to really change the landscape for that is very important.
Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to travel to the United Kingdom today, Tuesday, for a state visit hosted by King Charles III and Queen Camilla. His trip aims to strengthen diplomatic and economic ties between the two countries. For WADR, Yeche Nusa in Abuja.
This is the Newspaper Review. Stay abreast and find out what the top stories are in your country.
This is the Newspaper Review.
The Newspaper Review.
For today's press review, we join WDI's Abraham Packer for major headlines and pages of some of the Liberian newspapers.
This edition features 3 local dailies. We begin with front-page Africa newspaper with these stories. Seeking peace over confrontation. Minor labor union leaders pledge peace, unity after Conakry talks amid rising Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone border tensions. On the right is Julius Matabio, president of Sierra Leone. In the middle is a Guinean leader, along with Liberian President Joseph Boakai. What happened to Tony Jackson? Government conducts autopsy on Jackson's wife, despite lawyers' objection, who declared crime scene as Jackson staff remain detained. Up next is Heritage newspaper that goes with these stories. Narcotics burst, racks Ganta Bolo. Liberia immigration deputy boss arrested abroad. Solidarity and Trust for a New Day stand condemns Guinea border incursions. Our next and last stop is the Independent newspaper with these stories. George Weah's compassion saves Liberian journalist John Colley. African Development Bank new chief beats Liberia's finance minister. Liberia Council of Churches and Justice Ministry meet amid border tensions. And Acid Jackson, former Deputy Minister of Information for Public Affairs, condemns homes demolition amid mass families displacement. Well, that does it for this edition of Press Review from Liberia's capital, Monrovia. Thanks so kindly for listening, and it's back to you in studio.
Many thanks to Abraham Packer for the Press Review from Liberia.
Politics, analysis on major news, social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
Our guest this afternoon is Baba Gana Wakil, a security expert in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State. Yesterday, Monday, a series of coordinated suicide bombings shook the capital, killing more than 20 people. So far, 108 others, including women and children, have been confirmed injured. The state government and joint security have condemned the attacks, promising that investigations are ongoing, while urging the population to remain calm but vigilant. Baba Gana Wakil brings us up to speed about the latest violence and what explains the resurging violence.
It is highly unfortunate that the recent attack is really bad. The first one at Maiduguri busiest Monday market, where thousands of people are passing through. And the explosion was actually happened, according to some eyewitness accounts, that it was in a motorcycle. And that of University of Maiduguri, it was a small child. University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital was a small child that was given the explosive device where he came to the gates and the explosion occurred. And another counter attack around the Monday market again, which claims, I think, lives of so many people, because as of now, there is no official statement about how many people were actually killed or injured. But I have seen so many victims were evacuated to the various health facilities within the city, and they are currently receiving treatment. And I have received a report that there were so many dead bodies in some of these health facilities.
Were there immediate reactions from the state government and, of course, the joint security sector?
The state governor issued a statement and he condemned the attacks, and he said this attack is happening just due to the ongoing massive military actions inside the Sambisa forest. And at the same time, police on their side issued a statement. The people should remain indoors, should be vigilant, and the police are working. As I'm talking to you now, military or police helicopter, I can't confirm, but is moving around on the top of the city from one place to another. And of course, last night, a similar attack had happened at some points outskirts of Maiduguri, where military repelled the attack. We have had so many explosions and so many dead bodies who are suspected to be the bodies of the attackers, and were seen being circulated on social media. But yet the military hasn't issued any statement regarding that. But I've seen so many security alerts. It was issued by the military that the situation is under control and the clearance operations was ongoing. That was yesterday.
Now, what are people saying in Maiduguri State or perhaps in the Northeast, given that there is a wave of rising attacks, particularly during this month of Ramadan, which usually was not the case?
Yes, people's reaction sounds differently. People who are actually not happy and people who are saying sort of things, and also condemning the attackers, also citing that nobody can stop them from going to the Eid prayers. They said Boko Haram members or OSIWA or the attackers might not likely want people to perform their religious rites. That is when you look at it from the religious perspective. And in the strategic perspective, I know military and other security operatives, including the members of civilian joint task force, local hunters and vigilantes, and of course the member of the public, are working together and sharing all the sensitive information to the security operative. That is what they had called for and have been calling for long, cooperating with the security operative. I believe people have been doing it, and there are so many platforms active and operational where information can be easily delivered. And I have spoken with top military officials and said the situation is under control and they are working to make sure that this kind of suspected attack will not happen.
Baba Gana Wakil is a security expert in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, Nigeria. Well, in sports, Nigeria's women's basketball team, the Tigers, have received the houses and national honors from the government in recognition of their international success, with officials praising their impact on the global stage. In Morocco, a court in Rabat has postponed the case involving Senegalese fans accused of unrest during the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final to March 30 for further hearings. Meanwhile, a Ghanaian side, Accra Hawks of Oak, have terminated the contract of striker Prince Kwabena Owusu due to ongoing fitness concerns. And away from the region, Spain national football team will now face the Egypt national football team in a friendly on March 31 following the cancellation of their planned Finalissima clash with Argentina. We've come to the end of this edition of Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Ismaila Kamara and Mauduju for the technical assistance. Do interact with us via our social media platforms, X, Instagram and Facebook at WADR English. Or do join Demba Amaran at the top of 1 p.m. for the second edition of Info Chevu, that is the French news bulletin. I am Sankule Jibril Janko. Good afternoon.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, Newmi FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Niba County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Wakat FM Radio, Banga, Liberia, Radio Gulf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone in Nigeria, and Love 104.5 FM Abuja.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah region, and on Royals FM 104.7 Wenchi, Ghana, we say a big thank you. Remember, West Africa Democracy Radio is all about you, your views, and your opinions.